Today, we have a different kind of an episode to share with you. It is related to the topic the whole world is suffering from, that is COVID. Unfortunately, our friend Tapan tested positive and he has a story to share with us.
So, Tapan, how are you feeling?
Much better now. It has been 20 days at this point. I finally left my house yesterday, so that was good. And we all are doing really good. All of us are healthy now. Mom, dad also, like, we went for our final checkup yesterday. The doctor said everything is fine. I still can't smell anything. But my taste buds are back, and mom, dad, they don't have any remaining symptoms or after effects of the infection. But it's all good now.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. The sense of smell, like I feel bad. I don't know if I'll ever recover. I have been reading posts about them, like around 60% people haven't recovered from that. So I'm a bit concerned, but the doctor was like, you don't have to worry.
Really? I didn't know 60% people didn't get their smell back.
Yeah. I can link the survey in our episode, but there is this research that is going on where, like, people who contracted the virus in January and recovered, they are testing like their remaining symptoms and after effects, and a lot of people haven't recovered from a lot, like breathlessness and lungs issue. They are still prominent in people who recovered from coronavirus, even though it is 4 months back. So it is a bit concerning, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But on the first day, Tapan, like, how did you come to know that you probably thought you have COVID, and like, how did you decide to get yourself tested?
Yeah. So what happened was, my dad, he started coughing around the 18th June. And like, me being anxious all the time, I, like, as soon as he started coughing, I was like a bit concerned that it might be COVID. Think about things. So we just thought it's just normal cough and he might have eaten something. So we continued with our life, and then come 22nd June, I started feeling like a bit feverish, and then 22nd June only, my mom also, she started feeling a bit dizzy, and she also felt feverish. So we had to get medicines. So by 23rd, all of us had gone to the doctor. We had some sort of symptoms, like we had some form of cough, and then we had some form of fever, and then we were just having the regular dispensary medicine. So it was very okay, and we were recovering as well. So like, none of us were that concerned. But then 23rd afternoon, morning kind of a time, and then my dad broke the news that all 4 of his partners who were going to work, they and their family are feverish and everything. So at that point, like, 23rd morning, we were sure like it was COVID, because if it is a regular fever, like, not all 4 partners and their families would be sick at the same time. After that, we started having discussions about coronavirus and like, what can we do, who should we talk to. We started talking to coronavirus doctors. We thought we wouldn't leave our house. Then we started like self-isolating, and then we also social distance ourselves in the house only. So my dad started sleeping in the living room because he was staying there, and then I was in my room, mom was in her room. We started like not eating together and everything, because by 23rd we were sure. And then we started discussing like, how do we get tested, when do we get tested, like, do we want to sit at home, do we want to get hospitalized. So that was 23rd. 24th, the second partner got hospitalized. 25th, the third partner got hospitalized, and 26th, I got hospitalized. So that's how it started. It started like with denial. We thought it wasn't something serious, and then slowly, as the days went on, we started like panicking, and it started escalating the whole time.
My God, this sounds really scary. I'm sure, like, at that point of time, the the kind of state that you and your family would be in mentally would be like very, very different.
Yeah, like, so as I said in my blog as well, like it was for us, it wasn't like physical, but it was very mental. Like we had like mild symptoms, like it was my regular flu. Like I have sinus like throughout the year, and then it was very similar to that. And like fever also, like it came and it used to come at night, and then if we had a crocin or something, like it went away. So in terms of physical symptoms, it wasn't very severe. And then mentally it was very challenging because like you don't know what can happen, right? Because it's a new disease. Like if you have like a viral flu, you know, if you take tablets for 2-3 days it will go away. Or else if you have, I don't know, like something else, you know, if you want to get admitted or not. But with this, like people say you can stay at home, but mentally you don't know if you want to stay at home because it might escalate anytime. So I think that was the thing. And then also like we were not sure if we should be talking to a lot of people because there is a stigma around, like I have realized now also, like there is a stigma around this whole coronavirus thing where even after you've contracted and if you go out and like you're safe now, you can't infect anyone, you tested negative, the doctors have told you you're good to go, but still people think you have the virus, they like stay away. I mean, stay away, but maintain social distance, but like they you can see that they fear you. So it still exists now. So we were like, when we thought it was coronavirus, we didn't know how to react, and like, should we be telling people, should we be contacting doctors, what can happen, and all those stuff.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Like people don't know that once you're through the virus, you don't catch it again, or you can't infect other people, but people will still avoid you. That's disappointing.
And it is very like, because even in my building, like the guards, they don't let anyone upstairs, like to our house. And I mean, the building has taken precautions. They don't allow people in general. But before, at least if there is a courier or something like that, people could come upstairs. But now, like the guards just tell them that there is a positive case and they had the virus. Don't go. And like no one comes upstairs. So that's what happened to me. Like when I came back from the hospital, like I needed a steaming machine because my sinuses were getting bad. And I was getting severe headaches, so I needed to take the steam. So the doctor had prescribed that you take steam 3 times a day. So I wanted to do that, and we didn't have a steam machine at home, so I had to order one. And the guard, they just sent away the guy who came to deliver the steam machine. And I was so pissed off. And then I called him and I was like, see, I can't come. Like I can't go anywhere, and you don't want to send anyone. So if you don't do it, I'll just come downstairs and take it. And after that only he like picked it up and he was like, okay, I'll come, don't come downstairs. So
I'm sure that is like an ism for it. It's not racism, but it's some sort of ism.
Yeah, COVIDism, I guess. But like, yeah, that part is very annoying. And I understand, like I am completely like empathetic towards them. Like they are scared. I would be like, I wouldn't want to contract, and knowing that someone has the virus, like you are always careful. But then like after this experience, I've realized that you need to think from the other side as well. Like they might be needing something, and they wouldn't be getting it because you are worried about it. And I feel WhatsApp plays a huge part in this, because everyone like is scared. They feel like people were telling us, don't put your hand in the masala ka dabba. So we stopped cooking because they're like, you'll put the virus in the masala and then you won't be able to use it anytime.
Wow.
And then
it might be true, I don't know, because it's still too early to actually perform studies.
That's the issue, right? It's too early for everything, and like you don't know how it is spread. So even my dad, like he wore masks, he wore gloves, he went to the office, like, and I talked to my driver as well. My driver was like, your dad never removed the mask, you used to sit alone in the office as well, and he still contracted, right? So you don't know how it is spreading. And like, so we were like super careful, like paranoid. After we realized that the first partner tested positive, we didn't touch anything. Like, I used to go around, so we had this sanitizer thing which you just spray around your house. So we started wiping all the surfaces and then all the chairs that we were touching and everything. And I used to go around like every 3-4 hours doing that. Even that. And like, we used to shower like 3-4 times a day. It was very weird. Like, I just hate remembering that time. That's the thing. Like, because it was so uncertain. Like, I didn't know what to do and like what will happen, and it was weird.
Mhm. So, Tapan, you mentioned that you guys had mild symptoms. So, I mean, what was the tipping point or kind of symptoms that you all faced, which made you decide that probably you need to get yourself admitted to the hospital, or was it the PMC officials or the doctor that asked you to do so?
I couldn't breathe. That was the issue. Like, I woke up with my mouth open and I was trying to just take in air, and I felt like someone was sitting on my chest. And that was a very like triggering point for me as well. And then at that moment we were like, okay, we need to get admitted. And we called, like, I've written in this on my blog as well, like I called my relative. We were like discussing what should we do, and the relative, she was like, did you try, like, can he smell and can he taste? So she asked me to like take a spoon or some salt and sugar and try to taste it. I couldn't taste anything, and before that I never realized that I had lost my taste, like sense of taste. My taste buds were gone, so that was weird. And then I tried to smell, and as I said, like, I still can't smell. But that, like, I never realized I have lost those senses. And because like before that we were like all anxious, and like I didn't realize I couldn't taste anything I was eating. So after that we called the doctor. He told me to check my blood pressure. It was really high. And then that was the moment that we decided, okay, we don't know any of the symptoms, it's just happening and it's too risky, so let's go. So the doctor arranged for a bed, and all three of us went thinking that we'll get hospitalized. So all three of us packed our bags and everything, and we went to the hospital. They did the initial checkup, like the x-rays, and then the oximeter thing, and then blood pressure and every temperature checks. And then the doctor told that only I need to get admitted, because my mom, dad, they were showing like normal body temperature, normal blood pressure, normal chest x-ray. They had some form of infection, but the doctor was like, this is too early, so you to get tested at home, and we'll admit Tapan, and then he'll decide from there. So I got admitted, and then mom, dad came home. I got tested in the hospital. So Suburban Diagnostics, they come to the hospital. They have a tie-up with the hospital. They came in, they took my swab test, and I got tested there. They said 48 hours for the result. I had to wait for 2 days. So once you're admitted, the hospital starts doing their thing, which was very weird. So before I got, like, when I was admitted, they already put the IV in me, and they started putting saline water and multivitamins. The sister, like, I asked her, like, I haven't even tested positive, and she was like, no, this is precaution and all that. They put me on a dosage like for vitamin C and vitamins and a bunch of things. So I had to wait for 2 days, and then my mom, dad, they got tested at home the next day, and they got the result before me. So their result came in 6 hours. They tested positive. And the thing with the testing centers in India is, as soon as you test positive, they'll just inform BMC. Like, I never saw my report. I saw my report that I was COVID positive the day I got discharged from the hospital. And mom, dad also, like, mom, dad, for them the report tested positive, and so they knew they couldn't leave their house. But the guys at the lab was like, if you want the test results, you'll have to come here, which was very weird. Like, so we had to send a relative who got the results, and they saw it was positive. So they decided to call the doctors. The doctor said that you should home quarantine again. It is fine. Don't worry. You don't have any symptoms. But then the BMC officials came home, and then they were like, you both are over 60. My mom has diabetes, blood pressure. So you can't, like, home quarantine. There's no one to look after you guys. And they were ready to sign the, what do you call, disclosure that we don't mind staying at home. But the BMC guys were like, no, you have to leave. You are putting others at risk. So they offered a bed in Goregaon BMC ward, but like we had decided we don't want to go to a BMC hospital. So they called a bunch of people, and then we were able to find a room in one of the hospitals. So they got admitted as well. I was in Tunga Malad, and mom, dad, they were in Shimpoli, Phoenix Hospital. So, but like both of us were under the care of the doctors we were talking to before. So, like we were teleconsulting with doctors since 23rd, right? So we got admitted under them only. So that helped because the course of medication that we started around 25th, it continued from there. So that was a bit helpful. And the doctors we were talking to, they were like, they are at this point coronavirus specialists because they only deal with coronavirus patients now. So that was helpful as well.
So what did you do during your time at hospital? Did anyone visit you, or are they even allowed?
No. So visitation is not allowed. In the hospital, I was on the 6th floor. The 3rd floor is where it was very severe. Like people were on ventilators. I just heard stories from the guy who was sitting next to me. He was the lift man in the hospital, and he contracted the virus while operating the lifts, which I felt terrible. And he went on the 3rd floor because his was a severe case. And he told like they couldn't access the phone, they couldn't access television, they couldn't talk to anyone, and no visitors obviously. So that was bad. I was on the 6th floor. I had my iPad, so the entire day initially I was like like the day I got admitted, I was panicking because like you have patients all around you. And there was this guy who I was talking to, he became my friend, and he was the guy who got me through it. But like the day I got admitted, he was like, I've been here since 8 days, they don't let you out once you're in, like all those random things. And I was like shit scared. Like I didn't have symptoms like him. He was on oxygen. Most of the patients like with me in the ward were on oxygen. So I was like, if I'm admitted and they don't let me go till 10-15 days, like what will happen? And I started thinking about all those stuff. So I started panicking a lot. And then I was just talking to my family, mom, dad, and my sister. And then like that day I decided, okay, like if I'm here for 8-9 days, I won't be able to deal with this alone. So I started messaging few friends. Atit, you got the text, and then you texted me actually. So yeah. I replied back, and then I called a couple of friends, and then like I sent some messages on some of the groups. Again, I didn't want to bother everyone because like I realized two things. One, like people, like most of my friends were in US, so they wouldn't be able to do anything. Most they can do is like they can call their parents, and then like it just worries everyone, right? Because even my sister is in the US, and I knew how she felt because she couldn't do anything and she kept worrying there. So like I didn't want to do that. So a lot of friends also like who messaged me during my stay at the hospital, I never told them. They found out when the day I posted my blog, and they were like, you were chatting with us normally. And that was the thing, like if you don't tell people like what is going through, like they will be just normal with you. And that's what I wanted. So we used to talk about random things. Then I started reading. Atit, you sent a book, thanks. I read that halfway through. Then I started watching Sopranos. So it was like after day 2-3, I got into like a routine kind of a thing where I was watching TV. I woke up, and the hospitals, they are very strict about the routine. So they used to come 6 o'clock with hot water. You have to shower. Then 7 o'clock breakfast, 7:30 medicine. Then 9 o'clock again, some chai or something. 12 o'clock, you get your medicine and your lunch. And like it was very fixed. So it was a lot of sleeping and lot of TV and lot of books. That was 7 days for me. Okay. Yeah, and the food I've written explicitly about it. The food at the hospital was horrendous. Like it was so bad. I never want to eat it again. Never.
So Tapan, like, would you want to share some advice based on your journey, your hospital situation, and the way you fought COVID? What would your advice be for anybody who is themselves suffering from COVID or their family members?
Yeah, for sure. First will be like if you don't know it's COVID and you have some symptoms, like distance yourself as soon as possible, because like even if you have cough or fever, like mild cough and fever, just distance yourself. It's no big deal. Just start like eating in your room, staying away from your family, washing everything that you touch, asking them if you have two bathrooms, you're privileged enough, then like use separate bathrooms and stuff like that. Like the sooner you um, distance yourself, the safer your people, like the people around you will be. Secondly, like don't put a like don't have a stigma around it, right? Like it's just a disease. It's like for most people it's just a mild flu, right? So like don't have to worry about it. Like even our doctors, they used to come visit us. Our nurses, they were fine because they took precautions. Wash your hands and don't touch your face, and if like always wear a mask, and then uh, like general precautions that like you see on TV, that actually helps. So if you follow that, like you have nothing to worry about. And then also keep a oximeter, like things that you need the most when you have some mild symptoms, just keep them at home. So those will be like oximeter, then a thermometer, then if you have blood pressure, then a blood pressure machine, diabetes and a diabetes, like the thing that you can check at home. So if you have those machines, like you'll be able to constantly monitor your vitals, and then based on that you'll be able to take a more sound decision. Then if your symptoms, like I feel that was the thing, like my dad had symptoms for 2-3 days, we still like continued our doctor's medicine. So if you have symptoms for 2-3 days and they are not going away, and you know it's not normal, like having a cold or a cough for 3-4 days, it's not normal, right? So get tested, like ask your doctor for a prescription and get tested soon enough, like because the quicker you get tested, the quicker your quarantine, and if you're positive, the quicker your quarantine and your hospitalization, whatever it is, it will start, and the quicker you will be able to get through it. But like if you look at our case, we had some like initial symptoms for my dad especially was from 18th, and then he waited for a week, and then a week of hospitalization, and after that 10 days of quarantine. So it keeps expanding if you delay the process. So don't worry about like hospitalization and all those things. If you have mild symptoms, then you will be fine, and you will get through it. And then finally, and most importantly, which I talked about throughout my blog as well, like don't panic. Like panic isn't your friend. Like if you panic, you won't be able to make good decisions, you won't be able to think about things clearly, and like your other vitals will start going up, which will just exaggerate your overall symptoms. So just don't panic, have a calm mind, talk to people, get their consultation, talk to doctors, get their consultation, and make a sound decision. Think those things, if you keep in mind, like you should be good.
Tapan, you're a fighter. Your whole family is a fighter. It's very scary, and you've been very positive throughout. Like you said, right? Your friends who are texting you didn't even know that you are going through that. So that's
like my roommate from New York, I like he messaged me after I posted the blog. He was like, we were talking about Manchester United and the football game, and I think it's a like important thing, because if you tell people you have COVID, they'll just keep talking about COVID. So I actively tried to avoid it. So, but thanks for saying that. Like I just feel like we had mild symptoms, so I just keep avoiding this conversation. But like I saw cases that were very severe, so it is something that you need to take seriously. But like if you have mild symptoms, then like there's a high probability that you will get through it if you don't like worry about it.
I agree with Atit, and what you have gone through and the way you have been sharing your journey. I think that is creating a lot of impact. There are so many people with very little information, and then there are so many rumors about how to go about things. But probably your experience at least gives people the comfort of knowing what would they be expecting, and also the confidence that they are gonna sail through it.
Thank you, thank you. And like you brought a good topic. Sorry, I'll just talk about it for a minute. Like rumors and WhatsApp forwards, like keep the noise away from you. If you have symptoms, just talk to a doctor. He'll give you, like, he'll tell you how to walk on a straight line and just walk on a straight line. Like all the recipes that are shared on WhatsApp, like they don't do anything. If you drink warm water and then like have the medicines that your doctor is telling you, it's good. Like don't like go making kadas and then suit and everything. It is good for your immunity. I'm not saying that it does not have an impact, but it won't remove the infection in any way. It will just subside it, but your infection will remain. So your end goal is to remove the infection, and that will only happen through antibiotics and things that the doctor prescribed to you.
That's it for this episode. Our next episode will be on our usual time, this Saturday. For more details on Tapan's coronavirus experience, you can read his blog linked in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on any new episode.